Hey, having a great June so far. The first week of June, I've generated for myself after cost, paying the people that I use when I need help and buying the material necessary. I've generated about $3,500 for me in the first week, which is great. If I can continue to do that for the rest of the month, I'll have a very big month and we'll be able to do a lot of good things. My wife and I financially start chunking the mortgage, start chunking debt. I'm gonna once I get going with that, depending on how this month pans out, that'll be my new get to know the Northman segment. I haven't done it in a long time, but we're gonna do that. Anyways, I wanted to do a video. It's actually been something I've been thinking about now for really a week, and it does play into entrepreneurship. It does play into building wealth, but it's sort of a side door, if you will. It's not really, heads up, direct, go out, beat the bushes, hustle, do what you say you're going to do, etc., etc. Something you want to do as just a person in general, but especially if you want to own your own business and be an entrepreneur, you always want to make room for people at your table, okay? I'll say that again. You always want to make room or create seats for people at your table. And the reason that is, again, as I said before, I'm a believer. I believe God is our resource. However, the mechanism by which that resource manifests itself most oftentimes is always people. It's the skills and the talents and the drive of other individuals that we sync up with our own that allow us to achieve levels of success that on our own we really can't. We can be successful on our own to a certain degree, but without the opportunity given to us by others, without the knowledge and the training that's imparted to us by others, typically we can't have the success that we could if we had the aid from other individuals. And in fact, the whole notion of being self-made is laughable, even on the fundamental level of life where no one was self-made. Literally everyone that's on this planet and or has ever been was made by two other people. So that's a sort of ridiculous notion when you think about it. Now, to touch on it real quick, I know plenty of people who have been given all the opportunity in the world and they've squandered it. So there is an element where you as the individual have to pick up the mantle. You have to pick up your hammer, Mjolnir, and you have to go to work. Even if someone gives you that hammer or gives you that opportunity or gives you that mantle, it's your responsibility to pick it up and or carry it. That is the individual choice and the power that you have. But most likely the opportunity or the chances or the shots that you've been set up to take were probably done so by someone else who cared about you. So it's important that you guys understand, no one is self-made. That's a ridiculous notion. The point is this: since no one is self-made and we all require opportunity from others, our community, society, whatever, it's imperative that you as the individual, once you become successful and even while you're becoming successful, to always make room and create seats for people at your table. Because one, it's just, and then number two, the individuals that you invite and allow to your table could in fact be the individuals that have the skill, the talent, the drive to take your business and your ideas to the next level where you yourself on your own cannot. You always want to make room at your table for others. You always want to create seats at your table for others. Now, if someone breaks trust, if someone violates the relationship, you do need to separate yourself from them. You need to be honest about that with them and have an adult conversation and tell them that they cannot sit at your table. This is obviously figurative, until they've rebuilt trust. Because you can't have people coming in and talking bad about you and trying to hurt you while reaping the rewards and the benefits of your charity that you're giving to them as charity was given to you via opportunity and a seat at the table, if you will. So knowing that we always want to create room, we want to create seats at our table for others, is where this video came from. There's a guy that I see oftentimes at the gym, and he's in shape, he's pretty strong. However, he desperately wants to be like a David Goggins guy. He's not a trainer, but he tries to go around and like work with people and tell them how to work out. And he's very intense. And he is someone who he's got massive insecurity. He's really a broken person. He's got a lot he's got to work on. But he desperately wants to be this badass. He desperately wants to be this guy, and he wants to, in his mind, create seats at his table for other people and help people get to his level. That's his perception of where he's at. Now he works out. He doesn't even work his lower body. Doesn't do squats because his back hurts. It's all BS. None of that matters. This is the point. The other day I saw him in the gym, went up to him and said hi, and he brushed me off like, oh, I don't have time for you. Get out of here. Because I'm not at his level of intensity per se. And although that does work for some people, there is an archetypical type of person that does want to have an intense level of chastisement is not the right word. Does want to have an intense level of critique and the notion that they could be separated from their perceived leader at any time. Some people need that, and it keeps them motivated and it keeps them driven. The problem with that, though, is this. As the leader, as the person making room at your table, you are moving from a standpoint of vanity where you perceive yourself better than the individual that you are trying to help. Whether that's true or not is irrelevant. You're perceiving yourself as an elite, and most likely anyone that perceives themselves as an elite is in fact an insecure little bitch. That's just the way it is. And when you act that way, when you have the notion of I'm better than you or you're not on my level of intensity, so I don't have time for you, what you're actually doing is you are isolating yourself from individuals that could help you, whether it's in a nominal way or an extremely vast manner. We don't know. We never know the outcome of the choices we make until the outcome presents itself. Again, I've said this before concerning people. Everyone is unproven until they are proven. That's life. Everyone is unproven until they are proven. There's no way around that. I don't care what degree you got. I don't care what experience you have. If you're in a new situation, you are unproven until you are proven. But getting back to my point, with this individual who desperately wants to have he wants to be, I hate saying this word because it's been co-opted and it says, but he desperately wants to be the alpha male. He desperately wants to be, and he has a massive father wound. He's got a massive family. I mean, it's just sad. And he so bad wants to be a badass. And those are issues that he has to deal with himself. But as an individual, on outside looking in, by him brushing me off and others off, you're not intense enough for me, these people are weak, yada, yada, yada. He's not necessarily wrong. I am not as intense as he is. He gets to the gym way earlier than me. His pursuit and what he does, in my opinion, is somewhat dangerous, but that's me. But he's not necessarily wrong. However, moving from that elitist position, he's isolating himself from people where even if I or others like me would want to sit at his table because of whatever perceived value he has or exceptionalism or whatever, the fact of the matter is his attitude is going to chase us away. And in chasing us away, he will chase away the opportunity that he could achieve and or acquire through us. Again, guys, whether you believe in God or not, whatever, I believe God is the resource. The mechanism that we experience that is through people. It just is. We are each other's answers to the problems that we're facing. Okay, that's a fact. And you always want, and from that truth, you always want to create seats at your table. You want to make room at your table for people who have earned trust and who are continuing to reinforce your trust in them. Do not be someone, especially if you're trying to be an entrepreneur, do not be someone that's chasing people away from a vanity standpoint, from an elitist standpoint of you don't have my intensity, you don't have my integrity, yada, 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 all this stuff. Even if it's all true, you should always be creating an opportunity for people to come to you and sit at the table with you, again, as long as they've, one, haven't violated trust and they're reinforcing that trust, but then number two, as long as they can add and bring something to the table for you. If they're just coming and sitting at your table and all they're doing is reaping the benefits of you and they're not putting anything back into it, eventually you're going to want to separate from that, because that's someone who's not reciprocating the energy, the thought, the work, the wealth that you are generating for them. And it has to be a reciprocal nature. You don't want parasites. You want individuals who have a symbiotic situation with you. It's very important. And that's a skill set in ascertaining that and judging that in people. That's something you have to develop. But the origin, or rather the initial thought, is 100% correct. You always want to make room at your table for others. Do not isolate yourself. Do not shoo people away because they're not on the level that you want them at. And if they're not on that level, instead of shooing them away, what you need to do instead is say, hey, I see something in you. You have to choose it. And until you do, I'm going to be over here, but I'm not going to participate with you. But anytime you're ready to step up, come to this next level, we'll rock it together. That's valuable. That cuts like a knife. That's powerful. But again, the notion of better than and or elitist and you chasing people away, that is foolish. That is moronic. Most oftentimes the solution to your problem is probably found and or can be facilitated by an individual that's in your circle or just outside of your circle or someone that you know or know indirectly. Always make room at your table for others. Always. Again, the mechanism by which we achieve success and have opportunity handed to us and or experience wealth many times comes through people, if not every single time. Remember that. Don't be a fool about that. Always make room for others at your table. If you've liked the content, like, share, subscribe. If you've hated it, send it to someone you hate.